At Rebecca's words, Mr. and Mrs. Allen also gave a closer look, as if briefly catching sight of Kira's lovely face. They wanted to offer their greetings as well, but the luxury car never came to a stop and simply drove straight past them. Mr. Allen was stunned. It appeared that it was indeed Kira. Mrs. Allen agreed as well. "I believe I saw her too." Frankie's brow furrowed. The one seated in Lewis's car could only be Kira, not Isla. He turned his gaze toward Rebecca. "Was that Kira, the one who has extended her help to you?" "Yes," Rebecca replied with excitement. "Hurry, let's catch up with her. I'd like to attend the banquet alongside her." Frankie's jaw tightened. Could it truly be Isla in that car? As the whole family piled into their vehicle and set off in pursuit of Kira, the ornate car had already vanished from view. Rebecca instructed the driver, urging him to pick up speed. "We might cross paths with Miss Olson before we reach the banquet entrance." The driver accelerated and, indeed, spotted the fancy car once more just before the Imperial Hotel. Unfortunately, that car turned directly into the employees' parking lot, while theirs was halted outside. Frankie tried to reassure Rebecca. "We'll be able to see her at the banquet." Rebecca's expression fell with disappointment. "I suppose we have no other choice." The Imperial Hotel was part of the Horton Group as well, so Lewis's car was parked straight in the employee section. After Kira stepped out, she trailed behind Lewis. As they walked along, she sensed that something was off. This didn't appear to be the path to the banquet, but rather toward a hotel suite. She hesitated briefly. Lewis must have noticed, for he glanced back at her as if inquiring what was wrong. Kira faltered. "Where exactly are we heading?" "To the suite," Lewis answered flatly. Kira's pulse quickened. "And what for?" Before Lewis could respond, Tom, who was following behind, answered instinctively, "It's for your evening makeup and gown. The hospital wasn't convenient, so we reserved a suite." Kira was left speechless. Only then did she realize she had been overthinking. She cleared her throat, trying to hide her awkwardness. "I see." Observing this, Lewis cast a look her way as though he could read her thoughts, a subtle smile curling at the corner of his lips. Kira felt a rush of heat and her cheeks went pink. She quickly looked away. She thought she had been rather presumptuous. After all, they had agreed to divorce sooner or later. So what had she been imagining just then? Tom even pressed further. "What did Miss Olson think we were planning to do?" Kira dropped her gaze, her cheeks growing even redder, overwhelmed with embarrassment. Just as she struggled to compose herself, Lewis had already steered the conversation elsewhere. "Has the makeup artist come? How are the preparations for the dress?" Tom answered swiftly they arrived early. "As for the dress, since we were unsure of Kira's preference, we prepared over a dozen options for her to pick from." Kira let out a quiet sigh of relief. The three of them soon reached the presidential suite on the top floor. The makeup artist asked respectfully, "Kyra, which dress do you prefer?" Kira knitted her brows slightly. Before her were rows of lavish gowns in a variety of colors and cuts, a dazzling display. Back when she lived with the Olsen family, she had never been allowed to attend banquets. After she moved out, she had focused on working and earning money, so she didn't have much experience in this area. Still, she didn't appear flustered at all. Calmly, she asked the makeup artist, "Do you have any recommendations?" The makeup artist brought out a simple silk contour dress. "You might like to try this one. Although you look slender, you have a wonderful figure. Wearing this will surely make you the center of attention." Kira nodded. "Let's go with that, then." She followed the makeup artist into the suite's bedroom to change and returned shortly after. Louis had been sitting quietly on the sofa. Hearing the door open, he instinctively lifted his head. With just one look, a gleam of astonishment flickered in his eyes. When the makeup artist had earlier commented on her fine figure, he hadn't paid it much mind. After all, this woman usually wore casual, comfortable clothes that hid her shape. But the green silk long dress fit so snugly. It clung delicately to her frame, outlining her slender silhouette. Her back was lean but straight, her collarbone exquisitely alluring, and her full chest and narrow waist carried a sense of quiet strength. Her skin was fair, and her black hair cascaded loosely down her back, swaying with the motion of her gown. This outfit would make any ordinary woman look charming, yet on her, it gave off a wild, untamed quality that stirred the most primal instincts in a man. Louis swallowed lightly, knowing he ought to politely look away, but his eyes seemed held captive. He simply could not tear them off. Kira felt the warmth of his gaze and her cheeks flushed slightly. It was her first time wearing such a provocative dress, and she had been somewhat hesitant at first, but his reaction put her more at ease. "What does Mr. Horton think?" "It's fine," Louis replied, picking up the cup beside him and taking a sip of water to soothe the heat rising in his chest. Kira stepped forward, intending to admire herself in the mirror. But as someone who had never worn high heels before, she lost her footing the instant she lifted her foot and tipped toward the right. "Careful!" Louis rose from his seat in a flash, instinctively circling an arm around her waist. After Kira regained her balance, she felt his large hand resting at her waist. The warmth from his palm seeped through the thin silk of her dress onto her skin, making her feel as if she had been scalded. She instinctively pushed him away and took 2 steps back. The temperature in the room seemed to climb several degrees, turning the air stifling and short of oxygen. Feeling somewhat flustered, Kira took a deep breath and decisively kicked off her high heels. "These heels are a bit tricky to manage. I think I'll just wear flats." After all, there was no rule that formal dresses had to be paired with high heels. Kira was tall and carried herself with a straight posture. Flats should work perfectly fine. The makeup artist smiled. "I didn't think about it earlier, but I've just realized that the color of your dress matches Louis's perfectly. You two look like a couple made for each other." Kira said nothing. She thought Louis would object, yet until they left the room, he didn't say a word against it. Something stirred within Kira, and a flicker of emotion passed through her eyes. Even though she had never been in a relationship, she wasn't so oblivious as to miss the shift in a man's attitude toward her. In the past, she would have kept her distance immediately. But this time, she found it rather sweet. Kira didn't want to analyze why. She simply let things unfold naturally. The two of them walked into the banquet hall, entering through the main entrance. Rebecca, who had been inside the banquet all along, sat in her wheelchair in a corner nibbling on pastries. Frankie stood beside her, holding a glass of champagne. Rebecca scanned the room. "Where's Kira? Why hasn't she arrived yet?" No sooner had she finished speaking than a commotion arose at the entrance. To listen to the full audio series, install the Pocket FM app now.